Educational outputs. Definition of output. Economic perspective. In economics, output refer to the total quantity of goods and services produced by a firm, industry, or economy over a given period of time. It is usually tangible, measurable, and can be counted in units, value, or volume. Educational outputs, concept and importance. Educational outputs refer to the immediate and measurable results of an educational system, typically what students achieve during or after schooling. It is the direct result of educational inputs and processes such as student test scores, graduation rates, acquired, or behavioral changes. Unlike factories that produce tangible goods, schools and universities produce educated individuals. This makes measurement of output complex because learning and development are not physical objects. Why educational output is hard to measure. Intangible nature, knowledge, values, skills, behaviors are not physical units. Multiple objectives. Educational serves academic, social, personal, cultural, and economic goals. Long-term impact. Some outputs appears years after education is completed. Aggregation problem. Combining different types of output into one measure is challenging. Measuring educational outputs. Educational outputs can be measured in various ways through imperfectly number of students who complete a level of education. For example, matriculation, graduates, degree holders. Achievement tests such as literacy and numeracy assessments. Behavioral assessments like attendance or discipline records. Tracer studies such as employment outcomes of graduates. Standardized examinations such as board results and entry test. Multiplicity of educational objectives. Education aims to do more than teach academic content. It builds character, prepares citizens, develops skills, and contributes to economic and national development. At the school level, focus is mainly on basic academic knowledge and socialization. At higher education level, objectives multiply academic learning, professional skills, development, research and innovation, community engagement, and global competitiveness. Using inputs as proxies for outputs, in an ideal situation, the best way to judge an educational system would be to measure what students actually learn, their knowledge, skills, values, and behaviors. But because these outcomes are hard to measure directly and accurately, institutions often rely on inputs, input indicators as an indirect measure proxy of educational quality. What are inputs? Inputs are the resources that go into education system to support teaching and learning. These includes teacher qualifications, level of education, training and expertise or experience of teachers. Student teacher ratio, how many students each teacher is responsible for example, one teacher for 30 students. Classroom resources such as libraries, laboratories, computer and learning materials. Infrastructure, buildings, classroom, labs, support facilities. Funding and expenditure, amount of money allocated per student or per institution. Number of faculty, teaching and support staff available. These indicators are easy to measure and quantifiable, which is why many government universities and international organizations use them to assess the quality of education system. Why inputs are used as proxies. Measuring actual learning is complex, time consuming, and often subjective. Inputs provide a quick picture of whether an institution has the capacity to deliver quality education. They are useful for planning, budgeting, and comparison between institutions. However, input is not equal to outputs. Just because an institution has good input does not guarantee that student will learn effectively or that graduate will have strong skills. For example, a university may have modern labs and highly qualified teachers, but still produce poor learning outcomes if teaching methods are outdated or students are disengaged. On the other hand, a school with fewer resources might produce strong outcomes because of motivated teachers and effective teaching strategies. Output at different levels of education. School level. Broad measures such as successful candidate, passing exams, mostly teaching outputs. Higher education level. Multiple outputs. Graduates, research, patents, publications, and services. School objectives are limited, while higher education deal with multiplicity of objectives and stakeholders. Types of educational outputs. Cognitive output. Cognitive output refer to the intellectual growth of student, what they know, understand, and can do as a result of schooling. Key aspects include development of basic academic skills like reading, writing, arithmetic, and problem solving. Acquisition of subject knowledge such as science, mathematics, language, and social studies. Growth in logical reasoning, critical thinking, and ability to apply knowledge. Example of cognitive outputs, pre-test and post-test performance, measuring how much students have learned over a period of time. Standardized achievement test scores, such as literacy and numeracy assessment at national or provincial levels. Progress in reading and mathematics, improvement in comprehension, fluency, and calculation skills. Learning milestones, meeting grade level learning outcomes. Cognitive output should be measured carefully because learning depends not only school teaching but also on student natural ability, for example, IQ or prior knowledge, home environment, socio-economic background. Therefore, when evaluating school performance, it's important to adjust for these external factors so the contribution of the school itself can be understood more accurately. Non cognitive outputs. Non cognitive outputs are social, emotional, and behavioral outcomes of education. These do not directly relate to the subject knowledge but are equally important for a child overall development and long term success. Key aspects include development of positive attitude and values, building character traits like responsibility, empathy, teamwork, and respect, nurturing emotional, sorry, nurturing emotional intelligence and social skills needed for real life interaction. Example of cognitive outputs: social skills, ability to cooperate, communicate, and work with peers, ethics and civic values, respect for rules, honesty, responsibility, and active citizenship, motivation and self esteem, confidence in learning, curiosity, and willingness to try, psychological development, measured through psychological assessment or behavioral observations. These outputs are often harder to measure than academic achievement, but they play a crucial role in shaping responsible, well-adjusted citizens. Education and social capital. Beyond individual development, schooling also contribute to building social capital, the networks, trust, and shared values that makes communities function better. For example, school teach children how to cooperate, respect other, and participate in civic life. Students build peer networks and develop a sense of belonging to society. This strengthens community bonds, reduce conflict, and support democratic participation. Teaching output in higher education. In higher education, teaching output refer to the direct and measurable results of instructional activities at university and college. These output include number of graduates and successful courses completions. Student learning gains, knowledge, skills, and competencies. Research informed learning and critical thinking abilities. Academic performance indicators, GPA, assessments, professional certifications. However, teaching output is also affected by factors such as maturation and filtering, which must be distinguished from the actual impact of teaching. Maturation in higher education. Maturation refers to the natural intellectual, emotional, and psychological development of students over time, independent of direct teaching. In universities, students are at a stage of rapid development. Their analytical abilities, reasoning, emotional regulations, and independence improve naturally. For example, a student may show improvement between first and fourth year not only because of teaching but because of natural growth. When evaluating teaching output, it is important to separate learning gains due to instruction from those due to maturation. Techniques like pre-test, post-test, and control groups help achieve this. Filtering in higher education. Filtering refers to the process by which the education system selects, sorts, or loses students as they progress through different levels. For example, not all students who enter university complete their degrees. Some drop out or fail, leaving a more select and motivated group. If 1,000 students enroll and 600 graduate, measuring output only on the 600 ignores the filtering effect. Therefore, high graduate rates or good results may not purely reflect teaching quality but also who was filtered out. This is it. Thank you so much for listening.